Hey there everybody, hope your day is going well. Dracared with Old School Gaming here, and welcome back to another PokeTalk. There's quite a bit to talk about here. So, before I get into the trades, which of course there were quite a few this time around, the audio desynchronization, I'm not sure what in the hell is going on. I'm gonna have to look through all the OBS settings and see if maybe there was an automatic update that reset some of the settings I already, put into place. Because that's honestly the only thing left I can think of. It just, keeps desynchronizing, and I have to keep, shutting everything down, booting everything back up, and then starting the record again. I mean, hell, that catching montage had to be 6 different videos all packed together just to have what I needed. Now, speaking of the catching montage, as I said, there were quite a few trades that went down. First, Red had an extra Ekans to give to Blue for that extra Bellsprout. Now, that might leave Blue without an Oddish, but Red did capture an extra Oddish, and hell, Blue got an extra Meowth, so yeah, they traded those. Now, even though Red and Blue both can actually catch their own Venonat, it is actually, just much later in the game. And this is all part of a balancing act. So, Yellow caught an extra Venonat, so that way Red could trade an Ekans. And then, in order for Yellow to be able to pull off the Mew glitch without too much hassle, Blue caught an extra Abra, and then for one of Yellow's, extra Venonat. And of course, the levels of what I traded are just, whatever levels they are. And, especially since we just got the Cascade badge a little while ago, can definitely control Pokemon up to level 30. And while we're not getting any Pokemon training up to that level yet, or rather, since we're not getting any Pokemon that we are training up to that level, they can just be traded at whatever level they are, and then, yeah, they'll be good. And they'll be able to be trained by, whoever gets them up to the target level. And now, with Meowth actually being, in the Pokedex, at least for Red and Blue, Meowth will actually not be entering the rotation yet. I'm just going to leave it in. I didn't set aside a special box for it, but yeah, I'll just put it in box number 8 with the other Pokemon I'm holding for evolution, and it'll be staying there for a very long time. I will explain more on that in a much later PokeTalk. But with all the extras caught, the unnamed Abra for Red and Blue, as well as the unnamed Clefairy for Yellow, and the unnamed Spearows for Red and Blue again, those are specifically set aside for in-game trades. And I'll be getting into more detail about those trades once I, actually get to the point of meeting the certain trainers in-game that I'm looking to trade with. Now, before I go any further, there is one last thing to mention about my previous records. I was really, really quiet. It's been about 3 months since I started recording, at least for my time. And, normally I try to, speak up so that way the camera can hear me. I don't have to turn the decibels up just to be, heard. However, when I had started finally recording for routes 24 and 25 and then the catching montage, I hadn't recorded anything at all for 2 weeks. The main reason for that being my roommate, who actually sleeps right next to this wall that you can't see, took 2 weeks off of work. I'm not sure why. I don't know. And here's the thing, I want to be able to speak up so that way I can be heard, as I said just a moment ago. And I'm not constantly just, keeping tabs on him and oh, hey, is he awake? Is he asleep? What is he doing? The only way I know for certain that he's not there is if his car isn't outside. Yeah, so I guess you could say I reverted back to being a little more quiet instead of a little louder. Yeah, I will definitely be working on that for future videos, along with whatever the hell's going on with OBS. Now, before I get into the 3 TMs I found while on my journey, I haven't done too much to mention about the 2 TMs I've already found. Or rather, not found, but that I won from the gym leaders. First was TM34 Bide. Yeah, it's just not for me. It's not, suited for my style of gameplay. My style is just go in, hit them hard, hit them fast, make sure they can't hit back too much, and win. And with Bide, I have to sit there for 2 turns. While with my Pokemon, as I'm leveling everyone up, everyone is just kind of to a point of being ridiculously overpowered. I don't want to have to sit there for 2 full turns waiting for the Bide to, soak up damage and then deal it back double. Well, whoopity-doo-dah. Yeah, so that's part of the reason I just sold it immediately. It's just, I want to, move faster, not slower. And then, of course, TM11, which was the most recent TM1, Bubble Beam went to Squirtle, at least for Red and Blue. Yellow will actually be getting a Squirtle fairly soon. Well, there's gonna be a bit to do, but yeah. Yellow will eventually get Squirtle, and yeah, then that Squirrel will get Bubble Beam, and then it'll be good. At least for that TM. Now, the TMs I found. The first one was, of course, TM45, Thunder Wave. Well, Thunder Wave can actually be, pretty good. Just, the main reason I would personally use it is just to, paralyze a Pokemon. That way it just makes it a little easier to catch. However, like, everyone has Bellsprout, everyone has Ekans now, and no, there's still going to be a few, but that will learn some type of wrapping move, but nobody's caught one yet. So Thunderwave was, a decent, $1,000. I'm not too desperate for money right now, but there will come a time where I'm going to be like, give me all the money in the world. Please, now. Now the second TM, TM19, Seismic Toss, will be going to Charmander. Believe it or not, Charmander doesn't actually learn Seismic Toss. Or even, Fire Blast. At least not in First Gen. Yeah, and while Red and Blue will be sitting on those until I can get, the prize Pokemon from defeating the Elite Four on Pokemon Stadium, yeah, Yellow will be able to give the Seismic Toss to Charmander, and, yeah, pretty good, nice. I mean, it's classified as a fighting type move, but it doesn't get treated as one. It's one of the few, fighting type, or actually the only fighting type move that can still affect ghost types. Once again, at least in First Gen. And then the TM28 Dig that I won from the rocket outside of that one, the house that was robbed. And yeah, that guy, it's actually probably a good thing that I got the Dig TM, not him, because he wants to try and teach Diglett how to use that move with an expensive TM. Yeah, Diglett learns Dig at level 18. You might as well give it to another Pokemon, like Sandshrew, that can, not only take a type advantage from it, but also Sandshrew doesn't even learn any ground type moves on its own, so, it's perfect. Just, oh, here you go, Dig. Now, activating the Mew glitch very early works out just absolutely perfectly. Because then, I can defeat both the trainers that are required, or, well, I suppose that one on the left of Nugget Bridge isn't technically required. I could, use another trainer somewhere else. But, yeah. And then, once I have them both defeated, and then everything is clear, and I get Mew. And of course, this is the only way to get Mew, even if it is illegitimate. I want to get all 151. Now, speaking of this adorable little Pokemon, I have actually already cloned Mew to be transferred over to the second gen. Yeah, I actually cloned it 4 different times, just so that way, each version gets one, and then I'll have a backup Mew, actually on the blue cartridge, that will, just be, like, oh hey, here you go. That way, I mean, I don't know too much about second gen. I know there's, like a day and night cycle, a phone system, and breeding. And if I can actually breed Mew, then perfect. If I can't, then, well, that's what the extra backup clone will be for. So that way I can just continue cloning more and more, and then hand them off to, as far down the generations as I can. Yeah, and the Mew glitch is only one of 2 glitches I'll be exploiting. And yeah, technically I already cloned Mew a bunch of times, but actually there will be, what was it? Oh yeah, there will be one more time where I will have to utilize the cloning glitch specifically for either red or blue, to yellow in order for yellow to actually get 151. I'll go into more detail on that, of course, quite a bit later, actually. And finally, for all you eagle-eyed viewers out there, those 2 rare candies that I withdrew from the computer will be going straight to Mew. I mean, hell, you saw when Blue was trying to catch, or at least I think it was Blue, Mew actually got a critical hit, and it was 4 hit points. And hell, even the second lowest level would actually be the Charmander for yellow at level 10. So yeah, giving Mew those 2 rare candies for 2 free levels is just exactly what I need to help speed things along a little faster. Now, let's pick 3 Pokemon to talk about. How about, I don't know, Sandshrew. There's a good one. Been on the team for a bit, and hell, all 3 versions actually have it. Let's also go with, how about a couple I caught from Mount Moon? Why not, Paris and Geodude? So, Sandshrew. Sandshrew actually becomes a very, very fast one. Once it's at least leveled up, learning some actually a fantastic move, Slash, already. And yeah, it learns Sand Attack. I hate that move. At least I hate it when it's being used against me. If I'm to use it, then hell, if it works, great. If not, well, son of a bitch. And as I mentioned earlier with, TM28 Dig, Sandshrew doesn't actually learn any ground-type moves, which kinda sucks. But, I mean, it's actually a very hardy Pokemon, as hell you saw in, it was the second episode of Pokemon Stadium, where, that one of the Pokemon that I went up against used Explosion on Sandshrew, but only took away half its health, so, yay! And then, of course, as it eventually evolves into, well, what is it? Right, Sand Slash. It gets a decent boost to all 4 stats, but I don't know, like, in a top 10, or not even top 10, you can only carry 6. In a top 6 team, it might actually be pretty decent to have. I mean, like, if I was to narrow down, well, actually, from First Gen, of all the, ground and then the 2 ground rock types, I don't know, it'd be like a coin flip between either choosing Sandshrew or Diglett. Graveler or Onix, well, Geodude, Graveler, Golem, and Onix. Yeah, Sandshrew's just, so much speedier. I'm not sure off the top of my head if Diglett's a little faster, but I don't know. I might just choose, Sandshrew just because. Just because. No rhyme or reason, just because. And then there is Paris. For some reason, I forget where I read it, but Paris is considered to be the psychic killer just because it's not a poison type and it learns the bug type move Leech Life. The downside is Paris, and hell, even the evolution Parasect, is just so ridiculously slow. I honestly don't see how it could be considered a killer of anything. I mean, and yeah, like, when I took Paris, I can't remember which version I took, Paris through 24 and 25, but, even then, it may have been a little faster, but that's because it had, like, a 10 level, gain over all the Pokemon I faced, or more. That's partly why, Paris. That's partly why Paris was so much faster than everything else, just because it was ridiculously over-leveled. while it is a decent Pokemon, it does, learn some decent moves. Like, I'm pretty sure it learns Slash at some point, and hell, there's Leech Life. It does become, a pretty fairly balanced Pokemon, but definitely, like, if you're trying to create an ultimate team, definitely not even close to the top, but a lot closer to the bottom of that list. And then, of course, Geodude. Very unique combination. Being a rock and ground type, the ground typing makes it immune to electric attacks. Not the rock typing, though, for some reason. And of course, it's resistant to anything except, thanks to rock type, it's resistant to any type of move unless it is, it's weak against grass, grass, water, and fighting. That's what I was trying to say, fighting. And of course, there are the few moves that can do decent amount of damage to it, but it's not weak against, like Psychic, Bug, and Ghost type moves. But of course, pretty much everyone is susceptible to those types of moves. Except for those that have, like, same typing. Well, and Bug. Bug's not the best. And of course, Geodude eventually evolves into the Graveler, and at that point, it's actually quite unique, because in order to evolve into Golem, it needs to be traded. And I will, of course, be, taking care of that. I've never actually used the Pokemon Stadium trade system until I started recording this, so I don't know if, let's say Red and Blue trade, both their golems to each other to evolve into Golem. I don't know if that would happen, right there in the trade center, or if I would have to, actually boot up the games for them to evolve. That's a long ways away, and I'm not going to have to worry about that for a very, very long time. And that is going to be it for this PokeTalk. I will be grinding everyone up to level 27. Oh boy, it's definitely going to take a while. But, hell, I still need to record other stuff too while I have time and while I'm waiting for grindings to finish. So I will see you, I'll see you. Technically, you're going to see me next week, but I honestly don't know how long it's going to take me to, get into recording Pokemon again. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell so you can always be notified whenever I might upload a video, and of course, have fun.